Sweet. Okay, we're recording. All right. Hi. All right. September, you guys. The end of September. We're just talking about fall weather. I'm so ready. We went to the mountains this last weekend, and the colors are already like beautiful. Oh, I got my total fall fix. So I have been on like cloud nine this week. So, anyways, Erin and I had this awesome one-on-one this morning. We were just kind of talking about this aspect of keeping coaches motivated and keeping ourselves motivated in such a what's becoming a super saturated market, and the aspects of kind of where we get hung up and what holds us back. And last night when I was posting our event for tonight about a topic, I have been reading The Business Boutique, and I'm really loving it, and I'm not even that far into it. And one of the chapters that I'm in right now, the chapter that I'm in right now, is kind of been tackling the fear factor like a lot of our personal development books do. So I just kind of thought it would be like a good topic for tonight, because I think we all have this as we ebb and flow in our business, and we have awesome months, we have months that are slow, we have days that rock, we have days that are just total crap, and we want to just like throw in the towel some days, and then we're like having to like really remember like what the heck we're doing and kind of going back to that drawing board. But I know for all of us that and I honestly, I think that there's probably some element of fear factor regardless of what level you are in your business, right? So, and we're gonna chat, I want to hear from you guys too, but I think that there's this aspect of like, you start your business and you're super excited, but you are so freaked out and fearful of posting anything personal about your fitness journey because you don't want to be judged and you don't want to have to do before and after photos. And, this aspect of, I know what an amazing opportunity it is. I know how, impactful this could be on people's lives, but I don't want to reach out to anybody and invite them because I don't want to be a product pusher like half of my other friends who own businesses. And so you finally kind of get into your groove and you kind of find your way and what works best for you and how your community and your network really gravitates towards you in your business, basically, and what you have to offer. And then you kind of like are at a great high, and then you might have like 1 or 2 months and you really start to kind of have like a self-confidence check, or your life just gets like totally crazy and out of whack and you just kind of lose your momentum, and then you're like fearful of, oh my gosh, like, am I letting down my coaches? Am I letting down my challengers? Am I doing everything that I should be doing in my business? So, and I'm kind of speaking for myself, like these are the ebbs and flows that I have gone through, and I think it's not uncommon by any means. And I don't care if you're like top coach, you're probably still have fears about, what if I lost it all today? Or what if something happened? And, like there's just those aspects of the ebb and flow. So while we're on the subject of fear, I'd love to hear from you guys, like where you're at, like right now, if there is a fear factor for you, or you might be feeling like awesome, and then you're going to lead the rest of the call, or, what you've maybe gone through recently and where you're kind of feeling like maybe something's really inspired you to work through it, and kind of how you're getting through it so that we can all kind of take away from that. It'd be awesome. So Marissa, you're going to go first because I can see Erin has a visitor.
I don't necessarily feel like there's a lot of fear right now. I think I'm more so stuck in the more so what's the point right now, I guess. I did really well in August with the inviting and meeting my goals. Like I gave myself a 3-person a day, and adding 2 new people to a group, or to my Facebook, my marketing, and I did really good with a really crappy month, and I didn't get anywhere with Success Club and meeting my goals like broadly. So I'm kind of feeling more so like, well, what's the point? And so I just took a step back, and I haven't been very persistent this month. And so that's more so where I'm stuck at right now.
Okay. Okay. And I think that's something that we all go through. And I appreciate you being really honest, and I want to help you work through that. If you want to, work through that. I've kind of had one of those, what's the point kind of months too, because the grind, right? I've kind of gotten to that point in the year where I'm like trying really hard not to burn out, but trying to keep perspective. Like it's been a tough balance this month. So thanks for sharing that. Erin, I know we talked a little bit this morning, but just so you know, Marissa kind of knows where you're at too.
Yeah, definitely. I think that I definitely feel like my life has just been really chaotic the past few months. So I understand in my head that I haven't been putting forth, as much effort as I need to grow my business. But sometimes on the rare occasion that I look in my back office and see like there's really nothing happening. I've definitely had thoughts cross my mind of like, why am I still doing this? Like, why am I still trying to do this when I'm not really getting anywhere? And I also have fear and doubts about, am I turning people off by like posting about stuff too much, or is it like already has the ship already sailed of like being a new coach and kind of putting yourself out there in the right way, what if I didn't do that and now everybody kind of already has formed their opinion of me, and it's kind of just like what's the point too? Like, am I just going to be turning people off if I'm posting all the time about my fitness journey? And because I've been doing it for a while now, so it's kind of getting to the point now where it's like I'm almost feeling like I'm not as confident as I used to be in the beginning. Like I was thinking about, I used to do more videos and be a little bit more excited, I guess, of being a new coach. And now I'm just kind of feeling like I'm not really putting anything new out there, and I'm not really adding value to people. So, but I don't really know, what to do next with all that.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Like, we're not even going to get into like fear factor stuff. So let's talk about this aspect, because I feel like what I'm hearing from both of you is almost exactly where I was about a year ago, when I made it a year and a half ago, when I made it to kind of like almost that 2-year mark in my business. I was like so burnt out. I was honestly, Erin, saying like some of the exact same things you're saying right now to my upline coach, and just trying to figure it out. And I felt like, man, am I just like doing what everybody else is doing? I mean, what else should I be doing? And I think I was telling you the other night, like that was the point in which I missed Success Club All-Star by 1 month. The month I would have hit it to qualify, I missed it. And damn if I didn't want to just like bawl my eyes out and like just say like, what the fuck am I doing? Like I've just killed myself for 11 months to like miss it. And it was tough. And then, Brian and I had this awesome conversation, because he's like, what the hell are you, like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I've had this goal all year. And, I just like having a meltdown, like my son is having every night these days. And he's like, okay, well, hold on a second. Like, do you still have people that you're working with? Yeah, I do. Do you still have people that, you're helping, that you're seeing progress in, that are appreciating the effort and the time that you're putting into them? And I'm like, yeah. And probably 2 or 3 days before that, I had shared, just a text with him of a back and forth with somebody who, was just doing really great. And here I am like feeling like I haven't done anything because I missed this one goal. And it's really interesting, because part of this book that I'm reading, it really hit home with me last week, because it said that you have to remember who you're doing it for. And while we are doing it because we're on our own personal journeys and we want to help people. It's that point in which we get caught up in the Success Club, we get caught up in Team Cup and anything else that we're trying to push for, and that becomes the goal instead of all of the work that you've done leading up to that point, all of the people that you've helped, all of the awesome content that you've put out, all of the impact you've had on your family and your friends and your kids. Like, that perspective, like, it gets lost, right? Because we just put those blinders on because we're goal driven and because we're competitive and because we expect so much out of ourselves. I mean, I feel like you guys are in that same place. And anyways, I have to like read this to you because when that happened to me, I basically, I checked in with my groups for the month and I really didn't do anything else. I kind of took a hiatus from social media. I just needed a break. And I posted like once a day or whatever, just because I knew if I was going to keep my business going, I had to keep some content going. But it probably was one of the best things that happened in my business because it allowed me to just take this step back and decide, like, you know, what do I really want to share with people? What do I enjoy right now that I think other people would enjoy? Like, this doesn't and shouldn't just be about fitness and posting sweaty selfies. I mean, this is our life, you know, that we're sharing. This is how we attract people to us as coaches and wanting to work with us because they want to know that we have crazy, chaotic lives. Like, I love when Erin posts pictures of her laundry all over her bed because I'm like, holy shit, that's exactly what my room looks like right now, you know? And I'm like, yes, like, somebody who doesn't have like perfect hair and perfect everything is like a real woman. Like, I love when you guys do that stuff, and other people do too. I mean, I watch your posts. I see what people are commenting on, and, you know, they get it and they know that, you know, you're living in the real world. And I think that that is so important because we know how Facebook is. We know how Instagram is. Everybody takes 17 selfies and posts the best one and adds a filter and makes it look amazing. And very few people are just like the real deal. And don't get me wrong, like, I still like do filters and fun stuff because I'm like, oh, I think that looks better, you know? But I'm like, I have like a 3 selfie rule. I won't take more than 3 selfies because I'm like, if I can't get it in 3, like, forget it, you know? So then I grab my son and make him do a silly face, and then that like works every time. I'm desperate sometimes, you guys, I'm telling you. Anyways, I just want you to feel like what you're feeling right now, you are not alone in that feeling, okay? And I think, and actually both of you, I mean, you're both kind of in this like second year phase of your business. I think the second year of the business is the hardest. Now, granted, I'm only a year and a half ahead of you guys, so I don't have a lot of other experience to go off of. But just me personally, I feel like every other coach that I know of, that second year, Erin, basically to your point, right? The first year, like, mojo has kind of like tallied off a little bit. You've made it through the first year. Now you're really trying to either ramp up or just maintain a really nice, steady business. And you start to see, you know, and comparing yourself to other coaches who you're hearing on the national wake-up call who've been a coach for the same amount of time as you. And, you know, they have this big business and you're like, what the hell is she doing that I haven't been doing for the last year and a half, right? Do you feel that way? And I don't know. I really wish I knew the answer to that question some days, because I'm like, here I am. I feel like I'm working my business, but I don't have time to invite 100 people a week, and I don't have time, and I'm sorry, make time, don't have time, whatever. I know my schedule and I know my bandwidth. So part of me feels like I have to like understand that, and I have to accept it and be okay with, if I can only get out 10 invites a week, that's the pace my business is going to build at. And I understand, we all understand that this business is a numbers game, basically, that the more people you're in contact with, the more opportunity that you have to grow. It's like any business, but we're one person, right? Trying to build a massive, you know, business or a secondary income or pay off bills or whatever that is. And sometimes I feel like there's only so much I can do in one day. And if all I did today was check in with my challengers and see 5 people who posted in our group who had awesome progress, I should go to bed feeling good about that because I've helped impact their life. You guys have helped impact their lives. So I want you to not feel like what you're doing is a waste of time and not feel like what you're doing is going unnoticed, because people notice, not just me and people in our groups and in your groups. I know your feed notices it too. Okay? So hang in there. Okay? Because you both are awesome. And I have seen so many amazing things out of you both this year that I would hate for you to like not believe it, because, and Marissa, especially for you, she's coming to Super Sunday with me, Erin. And I mean, you were at Summit. Like, you know those stories. You know the impact and the positivity that can come from this business, and you both have that. And people need that. And I think that that's hard for us to remember sometimes because we feel like we should be doing more. And we're doing so much, you guys. You guys are both doing awesome. Okay. I'm about to cry, so hold on. I got to give myself a break. So when I was reading this book, this little section it's called Who Are You Fighting For? And maybe I'll take a picture of it and send it to you guys, because I think you both would get a lot out of it. And she basically is talking about the fact that as you're growing a business, you gain more supporters and you gain more critics, and that it gets really hard to not let the critics get to us, right? And this little piece really hit home with me. She says, maybe the naysayers don't understand you. Maybe they don't agree with your message, or maybe they just don't realize how negative they sound. Even though I know that's going to happen, and it still hurts when negative things happen, in those moments, she just says, I want to remind you to remind yourself who you're fighting for. And you're not fighting for the naysayers, right? You're fighting for the ones who need what you have to offer, okay? And that's so true. And I have a hard time remembering that. And that those people who need us, those are the ones that get the say, because they're going to be the ones that reach out to you and say, I've been following your journey for 6 months, and I just have not had the confidence to reach out to you and ask for help. That's when it's going to change. That's when you're going to realize your consistency and the value you're adding is really, truly making an impact, because it is. So anyways, she just says, the critics will distract your efforts and destroy your progress. So if you have people that are negative in your life, to get rid of them, basically. So the more you listen to your calling, the more the critics will fade into the background. Whatever you focus on increases, which we all know that. And when you listen to the right people, you're able to focus your attention on the ones you're fighting for. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of where we're all at right now. Don't you? Okay. I have to be done talking for a minute. Somebody else has to say something before I start to have a moment. I don't want you to.
In the 3 times elite group, Tiffany, is it Danzy? She posted I think it was a training actually that her and her husband had done. I didn't watch the training, but I had read some of the comments, and Noelle had posted a comment about how do you define your success, and she had went through a personal story that was really about her, and she went through this whole month too, and had wondered, like, why am I doing this and all of this, and she had to redefine her success and what success looks like to her. And so I wrote that in my planner, like, what am I doing and how do I define success? And so it's at the top of my planner to really ask myself that when I do something, and how, like, what am I trying to get out of this? Am I wanting just a point, or am I wanting to make an impact on somebody? And so I know that is first and foremost, because it's not just about like a goal or like something that I'm just a point, because the point means nothing. It's something that personal connection or helping somebody. And I know we do such great things in our groups, but it's still disappointing and discouraging when you work so hard and you hear so many no's all the time, or you hear, well, you're in too good a shape now, I can't work out with you, or you can't be my coach, or like, it's just frustrating. So you're right, we just need to keep going and stick to it. But it's just at that point where you're like, I don't know,
yeah,
frustrating.
Yeah, totally. And I know that team call you're talking about from last week, I haven't had a chance to watch it either. And I think it's kind of an extension of a call that we had, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 months ago. Erin, remember when we were trying to kind of work through like the right placement for coaches in our downline, just to make sure we had the right balance and stuff. And they kind of went through this training about how to keep your team balanced out. And are you working this business because you want recognition and you want to go after rank, or are you working this business because you want to impact as many lives as you can and you want to increase your income? Because there's 2 ways that you can go about building your business. And so I think that this last week's call was about that. And we should all just try to carve out some time and listen to it in the car or watch it. I mean, I know it's a YouTube link, but just to listen, because I haven't had a chance to actually talk to Noelle, and I am really anxious to kind of get her perspective, because just like us, she has kind of been feeling it as well in her business. And I am with you. I read her comments too. And we definitely have had this conversation about, like, this business has just changed in the last couple of years. And Erin and I were talking about it today too. I mean, just the amount of network marketing companies that are out there and the saturation of products, and like, it just feels tough sometimes to break through the clutter or ask people to join you or spend money when you know they're trying to build a business or have made a big investment to start their own business and that kind of stuff. And I was thinking about it a little bit more this afternoon when I was talking to Brian, and he's like, you know what? He's like, it's hard for me to think that people have a hard time spending that money. He's like, but I totally get it. And he's like, if you had come to me and said, I want to quit the gym and I want to spend $160 and this is why and whatever, he's like, that would be like a yes for me, And he's like, maybe it's just trying to position the value differently. And so, I mean, I love talking to him about it because he just gives me a different perspective sometimes. And so I think that that's good for us. And I know Noelle had a good conversation with her husband. And, I don't know how much you guys chat with your husbands about the business and kind of when you get stuck. I mean, it does help me to just kind of unload a little bit on Brian, because he gives me great perspective and he reminds me, of why I'm doing it. And he, today he's just like, I don't, care. He's like, if you're enjoying it, we were kind of talking about like the insanity certification and stuff. And he's like, you have wanted to do this for 2 years. And he's like, I have said, no, and I've questioned it. And he's like, but you've been more excited in the last 3 days or whatever, 4 days since you signed up for it than I feel like you have been in a while. And I'm like, I know, but I just feel like I'm doing something good for me that maybe will be good for my business, but I don't care because I just feel like it's the right thing right now. And so sometimes I think we just have to do stuff. It's like coming to Denver this weekend. You just kind of took the jump and the leap, and you're going to love it. And it feels so good to be around other like-minded people, and you pick up some great energy and some good tips, and it's just an awesome day altogether. So, and you get to see my face for like half a day. I mean, come on. Erin, how have you been feeling since we talked this morning? Otherwise, I know how you've been.
I haven't really been able to process very much because I've been really busy with my kids today and everything. But I think that it definitely, you know, when you said, who were you fighting for? That reminded me, I got drawn into this live video that Summer Tucker did the other day about what are you fighting for? And she was just talking about, I guess, a movie that she watched that was about a football player. And he just, you know, it was like an overcoming type story that he had always been told that he wasn't good enough to make the team. And he just kept on fighting through it and became a professional football player. And she kind of like equated it like, you know, our little kids that are learning how to walk and stuff, the first time they fall down or the 10th time they fall down, we don't just say like, well, you know, I think you're just really not cut out for walking. You're just really a crawler. Like, and she's like, you know, why can't we all just treat ourselves like with that compassion of, you know, hey, okay, so something didn't work out the first time or the 5th time or the 10th time or whatever. Like, I feel like I beat myself up about what I did wrong with different conversations I have or different posts that I'm like trying to promote, and well, that one sucked, or that, you know, that conversation got hung up and the person was interested, now isn't interested or whatever. But I feel like that is a good reminder too of like, you know, just, hey, we're fighting to help people, like you said, and, you know, okay, so you didn't make Success Club, or even if you're not bringing in a bunch of money or whatever, it's like, is that really what your goal is, or is it just to, you know, help other people and have that like self-fulfillment and, you know,
Yeah,
in perspective.
sure. And don't get me wrong, I mean, we're putting a lot of time and a lot of effort into it, and we want to save for vacation, and we want to pay off credit cards, and we want to, you know, do fun things, and, you know, it would be nice to know that, to feel like, to me, like making a good income, like in my career or in this business, I feel like it should be reflective of the work I put in. And sometimes I feel like, man, I'm working my ass off and nothing's happening, just like we all have gone through this. And so I just think that there becomes that element though, like you're the more persistent and consistent that we are. And even if you're adding 2-3 people a month, 1 person a month, I don't know, get them hooked and make them a lifer, that impacts your income. You know, like it does start to add up. And I know that, I mean, I think that that is so true, Erin. And I think that what I would encourage you guys to do is just kind of think like for this last quarter of the year, just think about stuff you really enjoy. You're going to keep working out. You're going to keep meal prepping. You know, you can keep sharing like those great consistent things, but just like Erin, today when you were talking about the DIY stuff, I think that is so cool. I totally suck at DIY. So like, it would just be like comic relief for people if I had a group like that. But if you could like host a DIY and you could like be posting pictures of all this fun stuff that your group is doing, that's going to attract a lot of people. And then they're going to be like, oh, and you're doing like this fitness thing too. Like, because like we were talking, like so many things just don't even get seen in our news feed because there is so much happening. You post something awesome and it sucks that like 2 people saw it, right? And then you post something stupid and random and like you get 50 likes on it and you're like, what the hell is going on here, you know? So try different things, try different times of the day when you're posting. Shit, one of my best videos, you guys, I posted it like midnight one time on accident. I was trying to schedule it for like the next morning. I ended up posting it. This was like when I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. It like went like bananas. It was like the best video I'd ever done. Midnight. Okay. So I'm like, shit, I'm going to start posting all my videos at night. And it worked great for a while. And then it kind of died off and I had to like kind of adjust. But open it up. Just, you know, go back to that whole thing, right? Where you're kind of supposed to think about like, what are your like 4 main things that you're into? So if it's DIY and it's gardening, or it's, you know, the dye-free diet, like there's so many like unique things, but like make it fun and personal because people they want to see that you have like other cool hobbies and stuff besides, you know, just working out all the time. And I know you both do. So I would just kind of start to pepper that in a little bit, run a fun group, just open it up and do something totally different. I think it'll make a big difference.
I have one more question with the social media posts where you're getting a little bit more like vulnerable or trying to share about your story. I feel like I've been trying really hard to craft those the right way, but it seems like the response is usually just kind of like good for you or like congratulations, and it doesn't really seem like there's that. I mean, I want them to kind of respond differently than that, because I don't like, I'm not just posting it for somebody to be like, oh, good for you, you know.
Right.
So what would you suggest in that case?
I'd have to probably see.
Think that we do that
I guess I need to.
separately?
I mean, what kind of response do you want to get from them? Like, tell me how to do it for myself, or I feel the same way, and how do I kind of get to where you're at? Is that kind of like you want them to have that kind of reaction?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I just, from the other like trainings that I've watched and stuff, they just talk about how somebody just says good for you, that they're not really connecting with you. They're just kind of like seeing it as you telling a story about yourself or whatever, but that they're not really, you're not being as like vulnerable as you should be.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe we have to talk about that in a separate conversation, because that might.
Yeah, I want to think about that a little more. Or maybe share with me one of the posts that you've done recently, and I'll just read it, just kind of as if I didn't know you, or if I just, didn't know what you were doing on your journey, and just see how it kind of comes across to me. And, this is probably a good exercise for all of us. I mean, I tried to share something kind of like that this last week too, and it kind of got some similar responses and like some positive responses, but I'm kind of like you. I'm like, now I'm thinking about it. I'm kind of thinking like, I'm not sure what I was really trying to accomplish with it, other than just, I think it's just important to kind of revisit where my journey's gone over the past, almost 4 years now, and just kind of reflecting maybe more than anything. But I guess posting with purpose is always the goal, right? And so, but vulnerability usually wins every time. So yeah, we might need to revisit that in the next team call. I'll need to think about that a little bit more too.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, guys. Thanks. I did all the talking tonight. I'm sorry. I hate doing that. But I think you guys you're doing an awesome job. Our whole team is doing an awesome job. And I know going into the last part of the year, it gets tough. You're going to have a lot of money objections. You're going to have a lot of, just help me for free because I don't want to gain weight over the holidays. Pick your battles and decide what you really want to accomplish, and, where you can add the most value to build momentum going into January when everybody's ready to hit it hard. So I certainly don't want you to give up on anything that you want to accomplish in the last part of the year by any means, but I think it goes back to our element of perspective, and, don't give up too much of your time for people that just want it for free. Add value and do great things for people, but focus on those people who have been with you all year, and focus on those people who are committed to themselves and to real results, because they're going to be the ones that keep pushing. They're going to be the ones that keep referring you as a coach. They're going to be the ones that are going to help really drive your business forward. And everybody else that you kind of help in free groups and stuff, keep track of them and keep tabs on them and keep inviting them back. Sometimes people just need that encouragement 7, 8 times. And, don't give up on them just because they aren't quite ready to do it for themselves just yet, but keep that in mind. I know we pour a lot into our free groups, hoping that something more will come and people will really get ready to commit, but there has to become that point where you have that threshold of knowing like, okay, I got to just let them go for right now. And I got to redirect my focus on, you know, those who are investing themselves and in me as a coach. And that I think will be a good driver for us all through the end of the year. Cool. You guys, thanks for jumping on. Marissa, I'll see you Sunday. I can't wait.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Have fun, guys.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye, Erin.